Welcome and thank you for joining us today. My name is Yvonne Ng and I'm the Artistic Director of Tiger Princess Dance Projects. I'm grateful to have this opportunity to live and make art on the traditional territory of the many First Nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, and the Wendat peoples, and that is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and the Métis peoples. We're so excited to be screening our community dance video project, Way in Connection, Sing Lin Sing with You. We're honored to have received so many beautiful dances and would like to thank all these wonderful movers. This community dance video project was inspired from our full-length 50-minute work, Way, that was created for and with 5 dances: Johanna Bergfeld, Irvin Chow, Mairead Philgate, Luke Garwood, and Caitlin Stand-Even. The live version will be premiering in 2021. Way in Mandarin, Ten Wei, means to become, or rather becoming. The concept of this work was motivated by my desire to attain a deeper understanding of belonging. As the exploration unfolded, its impetus shifted, and I became preoccupied with 2 central questions of what makes us who we are, and how do we know when we become ourselves. During this pandemic, I, with Luke Garwood and Mairead Philgate, launched an initiative that gathered the different interpretations of the abbreviated choreographic score. And Irvin Chow has now assembled them into a collective video, Way in Connection. The screening of this program, all of 35 minutes, will include some surprises, so I hope you'll stay to experience it all. There are 21 selected movers in this collective video, and their names are listed below. Check them out. I've invited Mingtia Chen, one of the movers, to share her experience of dancing this abbreviated choreographic score. Hi Mingtia, how are you?
Hey Yvonne. I'm good, I'm really good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining me. I just thought it might be really nice to ask you what your experience was to dance this abbreviated score. I'm hoping that you're into sharing some of that with us today.
For sure. Yeah. It was really, really fun. I guess I'll also start by saying that I love dancing, I love moving my body, but I haven't really had a chance to dance a piece, you know? Yeah, so that's something that was kind of new for me, and it was really great having this sort of like added element to my usual just like dancing to music in my room, and having these really fun tasks of translating certain directions into movement. I especially love sort of interpreting directions that are maybe more abstract, like dance a certain like direction, like north south, you know, dance horizontally, like dance in like this or that way. And it's a really fun challenge, and it always feels really good to move my body.
Oh, you moved so beautifully. It was so lovely to
Thank
see
you.
you and all the other 20 movers. So thank you for that. I've been kind of curious as I was abbreviating the score with Luke and Mairead, how that would stand in comparison to the full length work, because 50 minutes, it's compared to 7 minutes, and what that experience would feel like for a dancer.
Yeah, I think similarly. I mean, I haven't seen the full length 50-minute work, but definitely dancing the 7-minute piece. You know, also knowing that in the early stages of the work, it was planned to be danced in person with other dancers sharing a space. So there's sort of the time element, the length element, and also the interaction element. So I'm also really curious about maybe talking to some of the other dancers who have danced the full length in-person work and seeing how their experiences might differ or mirror that of the community dancers.
Let's see if I can arrange that.
Aha, let's see.
Maybe let's just call on them and see if that they might be into sharing some of that experience. You know,
Good idea, Yvonne.
The biggest difference is that they are also in relationship to each other in real time and real space.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's phone them up.
Let's phone them up now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mingja Chen, and I'm here with Mairead Philgate, who is one of the 5 original dancers in Tiger Princess's Chung Wei in Connection. So I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about whether it's scary performing a sort of highly regimented but also highly improvisational and interactive piece, you know.
Like, I don't know if I'd use the word scary, but I would say like it feels quite risky, and yeah, maybe a little bit anxiety producing sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the thing for me that's a challenge in it and that feels risky is that there's these 2 opposing states, I guess, in a way. Like, it is highly improvisational. We come up with the movement for the most part.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of choice making. Like, there's a lot of freedom in the piece. At the same time, as you said, there's a lot that is regimented about it. There are places we have to be at certain kind of times, and we always have to be tracking the other dancers. So there's sort of like, there's an order of things that has to be maintained, but it's quite confusing. So you have to be in this state of really, like, in the present moment of improvisation and wanting things to just unfold as they do. At the same time, you're trying to clock everything that's happening. What is the order? Who has gone? Where am I in the overall score? And so it's like this balance of those 2 things feels like a challenge. And the risky part for me is I feel like when I'm in this kind of improvisational, in that really like present state, sometimes I kind of lose myself in a way, you know, but you can't lose yourself, or you can't lose yourself for long. I mean, the piece is built so that, I mean, you can get back in and people can kind of nudge you along. There are things embedded in it that, you know, we get back on track, but that's the part where sometimes I go, oh my God, like, where am I? And, you know?
Yeah. I guess to follow up with that, like, I'm wondering, is this something that you as a dancer, like, as you sort of work on the piece, you just learn to never really get into that state of like, okay, now I'm lost? Or maybe are there maybe things in the dance that help you, maybe markers, like if somebody is lost, you know, are there things that you can do to bring it back? Or is it kind of like, just never go there?
No, for sure. And we do get lost sometimes, like different people at different times. And there's sort of a thing built in where somebody can take over and sort of save it, or just like move on to the next thing, switch the dynamics, switch what's happening. So sometimes you can either tell that there's confusion, and so maybe you decide to jump in. But I like the thing of, not like, maybe getting lost is the wrong way to say it, but again, I want to be in the present moment. I want to feel like it's unfolding, and it's not that it's just like we go here, next we go here, but that, like, this, you know, the magical thing that happens in improvisation when, like, something just becomes something else, and you kind of go, whoa, that was like magic. Like, how did that even happen? And so I love that sensation, and so I sort of strive to keep that alive, even within the rules, I guess, and the places we have to hit.
Yeah, it sounds like a real balancing act. I mean, I've never seen the full piece, right? I've only really been able to listen to Yvonne kind of talk about the piece, and also I've seen the condensed community version that we're
Right.
premiering, which actually, funnily enough, I don't know if you knew this or if Yvonne told you, but I also participated in the sort of community video, and you
Yeah.
were my guide video
Oh,
that I
okay,
followed.
cool.
So
I
it's
saw
great
your,
to.
yeah,
Oh,
it
great!
was very beautiful. Actually, I meant to
Thank
say that at the
you.
beginning. Yeah. So
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's awesome because we kind of like first met in dance, and now we're like meeting.
Great. Yeah.
Thanks. Hi, I'm here talking to Irvin Chow, one of the dancers for Cheng Wei. While Yvonne and I were talking about the dance, she mentions that surrender is a crucial element in the piece. And I'm just wondering what your experience is like dancing this piece where it feels to me like it's quite emotionally maybe like asking a lot of the dancers, surrender is a pretty big word. And yeah, like how did you address this? Like what was your experience?
For me, I feel like surrender actually was the more fun part of it. I really enjoy kind of sitting with the dance and allowing it to take where it takes us as a group. It's kind of like you're kind of in the ocean, and the waves come and they take you in to a beach or wherever else, like wherever else you go. It's tough because there's definitely a lot of actually quite a bit of structure in the piece, right? So it's not just like you can't just do whatever. And for me, it's actually the harder part isn't the surrender part. It's actually keeping track to make sure it's kind of the opposite, keeping track to make sure everything else happens.
Right. Do you feel that surrender is kind of a mode of being, whether it's, dancing, creating art, or just like living life? Is that sort of your neutral ground where you come from? Or is it more so just in the piece?
Yeah, maybe it is something that I have worked on, like I do work on in my life. Surrender is a good way to put it. I think I would call it, there's an easygoingness that certain things just don't matter.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really good reminder for right now, especially kind of, in the face of all of these challenges. It's like, okay, so what layers are we peeling away and what stays and what's
and what's important, or what's the score that we need to keep, and what is everything else that you can just kind of surrender to and live with, right?
Yeah. If you want to talk a little bit about, what has that been for you right now? Sort of like, what is the score?
It's honestly like a lot of it is just looking at what's important and what makes me happy, in a sense. Like, and also like, obviously a little bit that like keeps things moving. Yeah, actually, if you want to like relate it to the piece a little bit, like we have these kind of markers that we have to keep kind of moving forward towards. And for me, it's similar. Like I have those markers that I have to keep going, and like Luke often talks about juggling different balls at the same time. And I don't know if he's mentioned that yet.
Yeah. Well, he has not, but Yvonne has. So
okay.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's like you can only juggle so much at a time, and so you just like you figure out which two or which three are most important. And for me, it's like like making sure that I can eat and stay hanging in there, and then the rest is like family and health, right? And if those things are good, and I have, and you can get by, then the rest you kind of just navigate, as it.
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely those. They're all very challenging balls to juggle in their own right. So yeah, it's not letting slip the idea of what's important, what's larger.